Welcome to the Hall of Shame, where entitlement meets terrible acting. We found 49 people who faked life-threatening disasters just to save a few bucks. You are about to see a woman claim her emotional support peacock needed a first-class seat, and a guy who staged a massive heart attack just to get unlimited buffet shrimp. The audacity is actually impressive. Let's witness the absolute dumbest scams ever attempted. 1. A dramatic middle-aged woman on a crowded budget flight decided she deserved better legroom immediately. She stood up and gasped loudly. She claimed the faint smell of peanuts from row 30 was closing her throat. The flight attendants rushed over in a panic. She demanded the entire plane go nut-free instantly. Then she insisted that only the filtered air in first class was pure enough for her delicate lungs. She grabbed her bags to move up front. The pilot announced they were landing early for a medical emergency. She sat back down in silence. The whole plane glared at her. She did not get the upgrade. 2. An older uncle at a Vegas casino felt hungry, but his wallet was totally empty. He saw the seafood buffet line and hatched a plan. He clutched his chest and fell onto the carpet near the crab legs. The manager ran over with a radio. The uncle groaned that he needed protein to restart his heart. He specifically requested unlimited shrimp and prime rib while he recovered on the floor. The paramedics arrived and checked his pulse. They told the manager he was just very hungry. The crowd laughed as he was escorted out. He tried to grab a bread roll on his way out the door. 3. A hungry teenager sat in the longest drive-thru line in history. He ordered 50 burgers and ate 2 while waiting to pay. He decided paying was for losers. He dialed 911, screaming about lethal food poisoning. He told the dispatcher the fries were toxic waste. The police arrived with lights flashing. He demanded a lifetime supply of nuggets as compensation for his suffering. The officer saw the empty wrappers and grease on his face. The manager laughed and showed the security footage of him eating happily. He left with a heavy fine instead of free lunch. 4. A scheming grandpa walked into the local grocery store with a heavy coat. He pulled a brown banana peel out of his pocket. He looked left and right before dropping it in the cereal aisle. He threw himself onto the floor with a loud thud. He screamed about a broken hip and lawsuit. The store manager ran over looking very confused. Grandpa demanded free groceries for a year to settle out of court. The manager pointed at the fresh peel. The store did not even sell that brand of bananas. The other shoppers stepped over him while he laid there in shame. 5. A dramatic aunt took her family to an expensive steakhouse for dinner. She finished the entire ribeye except for one bite. She suddenly grabbed her throat and made loud gagging noises. She claimed a sharp bone was lodged in her windpipe. Her nephew looked terrified while she winked at him. She demanded the meal be free, plus extra desserts for the trauma. The waiter rushed over with water. He gently reminded her she ordered the boneless fillet. The whole table went silent. She stopped choking immediately and asked for the dessert menu. The waiter handed her the full bill with a smile. 6. A health-obsessed woman stormed into her favorite Chinese takeout spot. She rubbed her temples and groaned in agony. She claimed their hidden MSG gave her a migraine instantly. She shouted that her brain was swelling up like a balloon. She demanded free takeout for a month as an apology. The owner looked at her calmly. He pointed to the giant sign behind him. It said, "No added MSG used here ever." The line of customers started giggling at her performance. She tried to fake a faint but tripped on the doorframe. She ran to her car while the headache miraculously cured itself. 7. A tired dad stared at the 2-hour line for the roller coaster. He decided walking was too much work for a vacation. He collapsed onto a bench and started snoring loudly. His wife shook him, but he pretended to be dead asleep. He woke up shouting about sudden narcolepsy attacks. He told staff he needed a golf cart escort immediately. He also requested front-of-the-line passes to keep him awake. The medic checked his vitals and smelled the beer on his breath. They offered him a wheelchair rental instead. He stood up fast and walked away angry. The kids pretended they did not know him. 8. An eccentric influencer boarded a crowded plane with a large bird. It was her emotional support peacock named Sparkles. She screamed that Sparkles was having a stress molt crisis. She claimed the bird needed 2 extra seats to calm down. The feathers were flying everywhere in the economy cabin. She demanded the flight attendants clear a whole row for them. A businessman in the next seat sneezed loudly. The pilot came out of the cockpit looking annoyed. He told her the bird goes in a crate or they both get off. Sparkles squawked and pecked her phone. The passengers cheered as they were escorted off. 9. A teenage girl stood in the center of the mall food court. She started sobbing louder than a fire alarm. She screamed that her wallet was stolen by a ghost. She fell to her knees in front of a shoe store. She hoped strangers would offer cash or gift cards. A kind old lady stopped to help her. The girl hinted that a $50 gift card would heal her heart. The security guard walked up watching the cameras. He saw her throw her own wallet in the trash can. He handed it back to her. The crowd dispersed instantly. She grabbed the wallet and ran to the exit. 10. A high-maintenance guest checked into a nice downtown hotel. He took a shower and felt slightly dizzy. He called the front desk screaming about water pressure vertigo. He claimed the shower spray was too aggressive for his ears. He demanded an upgrade to the presidential suite immediately. He also wanted $500 in spa credits for recovery. The manager sent up the maintenance man. The worker found the water was actually turned off at the valve. The guest had been standing in a dry shower. The manager charged him a nuisance fee. He packed his bags and left in a huff. 11. A cheap college student bought a ticket for a sold-out blockbuster movie. He hated sitting next to strangers in the crowded back rows. He started rubbing his eyes furiously with bright red lipstick. He stood up and screamed that his pink eye was extremely contagious. He warned everyone that his eyes were oozing dangerous fluids right now. The families next to him grabbed their popcorn and ran away fast. He demanded the manager give him the whole row plus free snacks for quarantine. The manager arrived with a flashlight and a wipe. He saw the lipstick smear on the guy's cheek. The student was kicked out before the opening credits. 12. An obsessed fangirl was stuck in the nosebleed section at a rock concert. She saw a photographer take a picture 3 sections away. She clutched her face and fell into her seat screaming. She claimed the flash photography burned her retinas permanently. She yelled that she could not see anything but white light. She demanded security move her to the front row to recover. She also wanted signed merchandise as an apology for her suffering. The medic shined a light in her eyes. Her pupils reacted perfectly fine. She accidentally looked at her phone text. Security laughed and told her to enjoy the view from the back. 13. A picky suburban mom walked into a busy ice cream parlor. She asked to sample the triple chocolate fudge scoop. She swallowed it and immediately clutched her stomach. She doubled over groaning about a sudden severe lactose emergency. She claimed her intestines were twisting into knots. She yelled that they should have warned her about the milk. She demanded free, dairy-free pints for life to settle her stomach. The teenage server stared at her blankly. He pointed to the sign that said, "Made with real cream." The line behind her booed loudly. She stood up and walked out without her free sorbet. 14. A sweaty tourist on a budget cruise hated his interior room. He lay down on the burning hot pool deck. He started panting like a dog and flailing his arms. He screamed that he was having massive heat exhaustion. He told the lifeguard his internal organs were cooking. He demanded to be moved to a luxury air-conditioned suite immediately. He also requested an open bar tab to hydrate himself. The ship doctor arrived with a thermometer. His temperature was completely normal. The doctor offered him a cup of lukewarm tap water. The tourist miraculously recovered and ran back to the buffet line. 15. A frantic father ran into the aisle of a massive toy store. He held his toddler upside down and shook him gently. He screamed that his son just swallowed a vital Lego piece. He claimed the kid was traumatized by the loose brick. He demanded the store give him the entire display set as replacement therapy. The manager looked at the child who was giggling happily. The toddler opened his hand to reveal the Lego piece. The dad tried to grab it, but missed. The customers watched the dad turn bright red. The manager asked him to leave the store immediately. 16. A shivering skier walked into the luxury lodge without a pass. He went to the bathroom and poured ice water down his shirt. He stumbled into the lobby, shaking violently. He chatted his teeth and hugged a radiator. He claimed he was dying of sudden hypothermia. He demanded free hot cocoa and full access to the VIP lounge. He said only plush leather chairs could warm his bones. The ski patrol medic touched his forehead. He noticed the dry jacket and wet shirt underneath. The medic handed him a towel and a bill. The skier stopped shaking and sprinted out the door. 17. A muscle-bound gym bro dropped a heavy weight on the floor. The loud clang echoed through the fitness center. He dropped to his knees, clutching his ears in pain. He screamed that the frequency gave him instant tinnitus. He yelled that a ringing sound was destroying his brain. He demanded a free pair of noise-canceling headphones immediately. He also wanted his membership fees refunded for the year. The trainer walked over slowly. He saw the guy was wearing earbuds the whole time. The trainer pointed out the music was still playing. The bro stood up and racked his weights in silence. 18. A trendy, fashion student was shopping in a bright clothing store. She stared at a red dress and blinked rapidly. She started crying that the fluorescent lights made her colorblind. She screamed that she could no longer see the color blue. She demanded the manager give her free tinted glasses to fix her vision. She also wanted a discount on the dress for her emotional distress. The sales clerk looked at her confused. The clerk reminded her the dress was actually bright red. The student stopped crying and checked the tag. She realized her mistake and pretended to faint near the exit. 19. A dramatic grandma walked into a high-end French bakery. She looked at the expensive cakes and swayed on her feet. She grabbed the counter and shouted about low blood sugar. She claimed she was starting to hallucinate giant rabbits. She told the baker she needed free pastries to stabilize her condition. She specifically pointed at the most expensive tart in the case. The baker offered her a glucose tablet from the first aid kit. She looked at the tablet with disgust. She realized the free cake was not happening. She suddenly felt much better and walked out quickly. 20. A tech-savvy scammer was browsing the latest tablets. He touched a metal shelf and jerked his hand back. He screamed that he received a massive electric shock. He claimed his nerves were fried and his hand was numb. He demanded a free tablet to test his dexterity recovery. He yelled that he might sue for dangerous voltage. The store manager checked the shelf with a meter. It was made of painted plastic and wood. The crowd of shoppers laughed at his performance. He rubbed his arm and tried to leave. The security guard held the door open for him. 21. A crafty young woman walked into the expensive Maternity boutique. She stuffed a large pillow under her shirt for effect. She looked at the price of the strollers and gasped. She suddenly grabbed her fake belly and screamed in pain. She announced she was having early contractions right there. She demanded the staff give her the full baby registry for free. She claimed the baby would only calm down with that specific crib. The manager panicked, called for an ambulance immediately. The woman heard the sirens and dropped the pillow on the floor. She ran out the door faster than a track star. 22. A pale tourist sat by the crowded resort pool. He hated the plastic chairs and wanted luxury. He rubbed ketchup on his arms to look red. He started screaming that he had sudden sun poisoning. He told the lifeguard his skin was literally melting off. He demanded free aloe and a private cabana all day. He also insisted on free cocktails to cool his blood. The lifeguard smelled the condiments on his skin. He swiped a finger on the arm and tasted it. He told the guy to go rinse off in the shower. The whole pool deck laughed at him. 23. And grumpy old uncle tried on a pair of running sneakers. He took 2 steps and fell to the floor. He pulled the shoe off and held his foot. He screamed that the demo caused instant massive bunions. He claimed his toes were now permanently deformed by the sole. He demanded free orthopedic pairs for the rest of his life. The sales clerk looked at his foot closely. She noticed his foot looked exactly the same as before. She showed him the mirror on the floor. He put his old shoes back on and mumbled about lawsuits. He walked out limping on the wrong foot. 24. A clever businesswoman hated waiting for the slow hotel elevator. She squeezed in with 10 other guests. She started hyperventilating and clawing at the walls. She screamed that she had sudden acute claustrophobia. She told the bellhop she needed air immediately. She demanded private keycard access to the executive lift. She also wanted free room service to calm her nerves. The bellhop pressed the button for the lobby. The doors opened and she stood there, perfectly fine. She fixed her hair and waited for the empty car. The other guests rolled their eyes and left her there alone. 25. A broke college student finished a giant bucket of popcorn. He realized he spent his last $20. He doubled over in the lobby holding his stomach. He screamed that he caught norovirus from the kernels. He claimed the butter was contaminated with plague. He demanded a full refund for the tickets and future passes. The manager walked over with a broom. He reminded the kid that norovirus takes days to show up. He also saw the empty bucket in the trash. The manager offered him a glass of water. The student burped loudly and ran away from the counter. 26. A freelancer sat in a trendy coffee shop for hours. He ordered nothing but used the free internet. He suddenly slammed his laptop shut and screamed. He rubbed his wrist and grimaced in pain. He claimed the cafe Wi-Fi caused instant carpal tunnel syndrome. He yelled that the signal was too strong for his joints. He demanded free ergonomic accessories and expensive lattes. The barista looked at him over the espresso machine. She told him Wi-Fi signals do not touch bone. The other patrons put on their headphones to ignore him. He packed his bags and left in a hurry. 27. A die-hard fan was stuck in the worst seats. He saw the luxury suites and got jealous. He gently bumped his head on a plastic railing. He fell down and stared blankly at the wall. He claimed he had temporary amnesia from the impact. He asked security what year it was. He demanded premium suite access to help jog his memory. The medic asked him who his favorite team was. He immediately shouted the team name and stats. The medic laughed and told him to sit down. The fans around him booed until he sat back in his cheap seat. 28. A tired mom was sitting on the hard stadium bleachers. She decided she deserved a padded chair. She grabbed her leg and shrieked loudly. She claimed she had severe muscle cramping from the altitude. She told the usher her legs were locking up. She demanded to be escorted to the club level immediately. She also wanted free food to replenish her electrolytes. The usher called for a stretcher instead of a suite. She saw the paramedics coming and panicked. She stood up and did a jumping jack to prove she was fine. The usher pointed her back to her seat. 29. A greedy teenager ordered a slice of pepperoni pizza. He ate it in 2 seconds flat. He started fanning his mouth and jumping around. He screamed that the pizza was lava hot. He claimed his tongue was burned off completely. He demanded free cold treats and future orders for pain. The owner looked at the temperature gauge on the oven. The pizza had been sitting out for 10 minutes. He offered the kid a cup of ice cubes. The kid looked at the ice and sighed. He realized he was not getting free gelato and walked out defeated. 30. A dramatic nature walker saw a goose in the park. He poked it with a stick until it hissed. He fell back and clutched his perfectly fine arm. He screamed that the goose bit him hard. He claimed he might have the avian flu now. He demanded a free medical kit and snacks for shock. The park ranger watched the whole thing happen. He told the man the goose never touched him. The ranger pointed out the goose was actually plastic. It was a decoy to scare away pests. The man turned red and speed walked to his car. 31. A sweet-toothed uncle went to a boardwalk candy shop. He bought a single piece of saltwater taffy. He chewed it once and screamed in horror. He spat the taffy into a napkin and held his jaw. He claimed the candy cracked his molar in half. He demanded free soft treats like fudge to soothe the pain. The shop owner looked at the napkin closely. There was no tooth inside the sticky mess. The owner also noticed the uncle had full dentures. The crowd of kids giggled at the toothless lie. The uncle grabbed his taffy back and ran away fast. 32. A jittery gamer walked into a convenience store. He downed a super caffeinated energy drink in one gulp. He grabbed his chest and leaned against the cooler. He screamed that his heart was beating out of his chest. He claimed the drink gave him dangerous palpitations. He demanded free calming herbal alternatives to save his life. The clerk watched him holding a second can behind his back. The clerk pointed to the warning label on the can. He told the guy to stop drinking it then. The gamer burped loud and walked out without his free tea. 33. A lazy shopper filled her cart at a massive warehouse store. She saw the checkout line was a mile long. She put a hand to her forehead and swayed. She screamed about sudden shopping overload dizziness. She claimed the fluorescent lights were spinning around her. She demanded everything be checked out free while she rested. She wanted the manager to load her car personally. The cashier saw her texting on her phone while swaying. The manager offered to call a paramedic for her. She suddenly recovered her balance and pushed her own cart out. 34. A candy-loving teen bought a giant gummy worm. It was the size of a small snake. He took a huge bite and froze his face. He screamed with his mouth wide open. He claimed his jaw was locked from TMJ. He told the staff the gummy was too chewy for humans. He demanded free liquid treats like smoothies to survive. The manager looked at the empty wrapper on the floor. He told the kid to stop faking it. The teen closed his mouth to argue back. He realized his mistake and ran out the door blushing. 35. A hungry construction worker walked into a burger joint. He looked at the menu and sighed loudly. He leaned on the counter and acted faint. He screamed that his anemia hit him hard right now. He claimed his iron levels were critically low. He demanded free iron-rich upgrades like extra patties and bacon. He said it was a medical necessity to eat meat. The cashier looked at his lunchbox. It was already full of sandwiches. She offered him a glass of tap water instead. He grumbled and paid for a single cheeseburger. 36. A dramatic yoga teacher entered a holistic wellness store. She took a deep breath of the lavender scent. She started coughing and wheezing aggressively. She claimed the essential oils triggered instant asthma. She screamed that her lungs were closing up fast. She demanded a free high-end air purifier to take home. She also wanted soothing products for her throat. The clerk saw her holding a vape pen in her hand. The clerk pointed to the no smoking sign. The teacher hid the pen and coughed one last time. She left the store empty-handed. 37. A messy college guy was in the paper goods aisle. He wanted the expensive lotion tissues but had no money. He started sneezing like a cartoon character. He screamed that he had an explosive dust allergy. He grabbed a box and blew his nose loudly. He demanded free premium boxes for his health crisis. He claimed the store air was too dusty for him. The stock boy watched him sprinkle pepper on his sleeve. The manager told him to pay for the open box. He sneezed one more time and ran for the exit. 38. An audiophile grandpa was testing loudspeakers. He turned the volume knob all the way up. He suddenly covered his ears and fell down. He screamed that he had sudden hearing loss. He claimed the bass ruined his inner eardrums. He demanded free high-end earbuds to aid his hearing. He yelled that he could hear nothing but silence. The sales associate whispered that his shoe was untied. The grandpa looked down and tied his shoe immediately. The associate laughed and took the speakers away. The grandpa walked out mumbling about bad customer service. 39. A bored teenager sat on a plastic horse at the mall. The carousel moved slower than a walking turtle. She clutched the pole and gagged loudly. She screamed that she had extreme motion sickness. She claimed the spinning was making her violently ill. She demanded free ride tickets and prizes for her bravery. She wanted a giant teddy bear to hug for comfort. The operator stopped the ride instantly. He offered her a plastic bag for the vomit. She looked at the bag with disgust. She hopped off the horse and walked away straight. 40. A silly swimmer jumped into the community pool. He stayed underwater for 10 seconds. He came up screaming and looking at his hands. He claimed the pool chemicals caused instant webbed fingers. He yelled that he was turning into a mutant frog. He demanded free waterproof gear and goggles as compensation. The lifeguard looked at his hands closely. He saw the clear tape between the guy's fingers. The lifeguard peeled the tape off slowly. The swimmer shrugged and said it was worth a try. The kids in the pool splashed him with water. 41. A dramatic fashionista tried on a cheap polyester sweater in the fitting room. She looked in the mirror and screamed in horror. She started scratching her arms like a maniac. She claimed the fabric gave her instant hives. She yelled that her skin was bubbling up everywhere. She demanded a free hypoallergenic wardrobe of silk and cotton immediately. She insisted the store owed her for the future dermatology bills. The clerk looked at her arms closely. It was just red lipstick she smeared herself. The clerk handed her a makeup wipe with a smile. The shopper stopped scratching and ran out of the store fast. 42. A loud talker ordered the mildest curry at the food court. He took one bite and grabbed his throat. He opened his mouth but made no sound. He pantomimed that the spice burned his vocal cords. He wrote on a napkin that he needed free soothing drinks immediately. He also requested a full refund for the dangerous meal. The chef watched him whispering to his friend on the phone. The chef added extra chili powder to the next batch. The man suddenly screamed when he dropped his phone. His voice worked perfectly fine. The crowd laughed as he walked away with his dry throat. 43. An uncomfortable customer sat on a rustic wooden chair. He squirmed around for a few seconds. He jumped up and rubbed his backside. He screamed that the chair gave him splinters everywhere. He claimed he was now a human porcupine. He demanded free cushioned furniture to replace the damage. He wanted the leather recliner delivered to his house. The manager inspected the chair carefully. It was made of smooth, polished metal painted like wood. The manager tapped the chair with a pen. The customer rubbed his leg and looked away. He decided to leave before the manager called security on him. 44. A scheming driver went to the luxury car dealership. He took a sports car for a spin around the block. He slammed the brakes at a stop sign. He grabbed his neck and started moaning loudly. He claimed the aggressive braking gave him severe whiplash. He told the salesman he needed medical compensation. He demanded free add-ons like heated seats and rims. The salesman looked at the dash cam footage. The car was only going 5 miles per hour. The salesman offered him a neck brace from the first aid kit. The driver stopped moaning and asked about financing options instead. 45. A thirsty gym rat stumbled into the organic juice bar. He dragged his feet and looked parched. He gasped that he had severe dehydration. He claimed his body was shutting down rapidly. He demanded free lifetime smoothies to save his life. He specifically asked for the large protein blast. The server saw him holding a gallon water jug. The jug was still half full of water. The server pointed to the water fountain in the corner. The guy looked at the fountain with disdain. He realized his plan failed. He walked out to drink his own warm water in the car. 46. A penny pincher stopped at a mall dental kiosk. He took a free sample of mint floss. He used it once and started spitting. He screamed that the floss cut his gums deep. He claimed he was bleeding out right there. He demanded a full hygiene kit for the injury. He wanted the electric toothbrush and whitening strips too. The hygienist looked at his mouth with a light. His gums were perfectly pink and healthy. She handed him a referral card for a psychiatrist. The crowd laughed at his attempt. He pocketed the free floss and walked away quickly. 47. A sensitive shopper walked past the department store perfume counter. She sniffed the air and grabbed her head. She fell against the glass case dramatically. She screamed that the scent gave her an instant migraine. She claimed her brain was splitting in two. She demanded free calming scents to reverse the damage. She pointed at the most expensive lavender oil bottle. The clerk looked at the bottle she sniffed. It was actually a display bottle filled with colored water. The clerk told her it had no scent at all. The shopper stood up straight and fixed her hair. She walked away in silence. 48. A nervous student ordered a double-shot espresso. He drank it and started shaking his hands. He vibrated his whole body like a cartoon. He screamed that the coffee caused instant jitter emergency. He claimed his nervous system was overloading. He demanded free decaf coffee and pastries to calm down. He said the sugar would neutralize the caffeine. The barista watched him shaking the wrong hand. He switched hands when he got tired. The barista offered him a glass of water. The student stopped shaking to grab the water. He realized he looked ridiculous and ran out of the shop. 49. A hypochondriac rushed to the pharmacy counter. He pointed to his perfectly normal cheek. He screamed that he had a massive mystery swelling. He claimed his face was growing larger by the second. He demanded every possible remedy for free. He wanted creams and pills and ice packs immediately. The pharmacist looked at him over her glasses. She saw he was holding a bag of marshmallows. She told him to stop eating sweets. The customers in line groaned at the delay. He tried to puff out his cheeks to look worse. The security guard escorted him out of the store. And there you have it. 49 absolute disasters who thought faking a seizure was worth a free pretzel. The level of delusion we just witnessed is honestly inspiring in the worst way possible. If this parade of entitlement made you laugh, do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to BrainFumble right now. We bring you the best failures on the internet so you don't have to find them. Turn on those notifications so you never miss the chaos. Now tell me in the comments which one of these scammers deserves the award for the absolute worst acting performance. Was it the peanut allergy lady or the slow motion fainter? Let me know down below.